Can women be pastors or elders in the church? As you can see from the pictures here, there are many churches which kind of do this. They ordain pastors and elders, but this is kind of split. There are kind of two opinions out there. An egalitarian, which says that every woman and a man are equal whatsoever in every office. So women can be pastors, they can be elders. And the other is complementarian, that men and women are equal in value, but they have different functions according to the creation account. So now in this video I'm going to read and study 1 Timothy 3 and Titus 1, which contain the specification of the office of the elder. What are the qualifications for it? Now, first I want to say something about gifts and offices. In the New Testament there are gifts of the Spirit which are given to everybody and they require no qualification. But there are also offices which are for the apostle, of the elder, bishop, overseer, it's the same, and for the deacon. And they require a strict set of qualifications which you need to meet so that you can be so that you can function in any of those church offices. Now first read first Ephesians 11, in which we read, "And he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers." Now the emphasis here is on the word pastors, because the pastor in the Bible is not an office, it's a gift. You may be surprised by this, but the only office in the Bible which is for the church is the elder. It's not the pastor. So you can see here in Strong we have the word episcop in Greek, and it's in 4 places, and we have the word presbyteros, which is an elder, which is also in many more places. It's used for example, the traditions of the elders in the places where Jesus was during the Second Temple period. So the pastor is listed in the places where there are the gifts. So an overseer or an elder has to have the gift to be, of pastoring or keeping the flock of the believers, but not every person which has the pastoring gifts qualifies to be an elder. So it's interesting, but now we need to read 1 Timothy 2. I'll start with 1 Timothy 8, because there is a very specific argument which I want to present to you about whether an elder or the role of elder can be occupied by men and women interchangeably, or it is just specific for men and not every man. A man which has the desired qualifications which are listed in 1 Timothy 3 and Titus. So I read, "I desire that in every place the man should pray lifting holy hands without anger or quarreling." So it's interesting to remember what are the things which Paul doesn't want the men not to do. He doesn't want them to quarrel and to be in anger. Quarreling is only manly thing. Some women can do it also, but it's mostly manly thing to quarrel about something, about politics, whatever you want. But after that it reads, "Likewise also that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel, with modesty and self-control, not with braided hair and gold or pearls or costly attire, but with what is proper for women who profess godliness with good works." So women in the days of Paul were liking to be beautiful, like today they wanted to dress with fancy clothes, etc. But Paul rebukes them. He says that you should care more about your internal beauty rather than your external beauty. Remember these things. So men tend to quarrel, women tend to do too much for their appearance. And later we read, "Let a woman quietly, with all submissiveness. I do not permit a woman to teach or exercise authority over men, rather, she is to remain quiet. So, this doesn't mean that women shouldn't speak in the church at all, because we have verses in which we said that women were prophesying and they were praying in the church. So, this verse applies to women exercising authority over men, to teach with authority, which later we understand is the office of the bishop or the elder. This is the teaching authoritative office of the Bible. So, and what are the arguments for women not exercising authority over men? And Paul lists them. For Adam was formed first, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived and became a transgressor. So, there are two arguments from creation. Both are, first, Adam was formed first, and the second is that Eve was tempted and fell into sin first, not Adam. So, those arguments are valid whatever the age it was, and there Adam would be formed first, no matter if humanity fall into sin or it didn't fall. So, it's very interesting. Yet she will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith and love and holiness with self-control. So, this is the beginning of the chapter, just before chapter 3, in which we read, you have to remember that Paul before this said that women should not exercise authority over men. This is a faithful saying. If a man desires the position of a bishop, he desires a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, temperate, sober-minded, and good behavior, hospitable, able to teach. So we see clearly that the office of the elder is for a husband of one wife. This phrase has been speculated that it's not exclusive only to men, but we will see that the characters of which the elder has to have are kind of very specific to a male person. Not given to wine, not violent, not greedy for money. We will look at this. Not given to wine. Usually, men were most probable to be given to wine, to want to drink more alcohol than women. Violence. Generally, men are much more violent than women. Women are not going to go and fight physically with other women. At least there could be some, but they are very small percentage of all men. And the other, greedy for money. Now there are women which are gold diggers, okay, but at the time of Paul and in the Bible we have only male characters which are greedy for money, which love the money, like Balaam or Gehazi, the servant of Elisha. We have Judas Iscariot, which was greedy for money. We have the Pharisees, which were greedy for money. We've got the rich man, which was also very rich. We have and maybe other persons. So the only male persons are greedy for money in the Bible. So it's very specific. But recommended, but gentle, not quarrelsome, not covetous. Remember the 1 Timothy 2 in the beginning, that men were quarrelsome, not women. So here Paul is specifically telling that the overseer shouldn't be quarrelsome. So it's again referring to men, because women tend not to be quarrelsome. One who rules with his own house well, having his children in submission with all reverence. For if a man does not know how to rule his own house, how will he take care of the church of God? It's interesting that the church is like home. If you cannot rule your home well and your children, there is a little probability that you can rule the church well. There could be exceptions, I know, but this is what is written here in the text. Not novice, lest being pulled up with pride, he fell into the same condemnation as the devil. Moreover, he must have a good testimony amongst those who are outside, lest he fell into reproach and the snare of the devil. So the elder shouldn't be one who is new to the faith, which is a very strict requirement. Another thing which I have read, and I have read a lot about this, is that actually the egalitarians raise this concern that this thing for the overseer is specifically about the church of Ephesus, in which Timothy was there. It's not for the whole church everywhere. It's especially for women which were tainted with false teachings of the Jewish fables, etc., which were written in the first chapter, etc. But there is a problem with this view, that it's only a contextual text, because it's the same which we read in Titus 1:5 and below. And in Titus we read the following: "For this reason I left you in Crete, that you should set in order the things that are lacking and appoint elders in every city as I commanded you." So there is some order for which Paul is speaking here, and that he should appoint elders in every city as I commanded you. So Titus should do elders and appoint them in every city. It's not for just for Ephesus or for Crete, it's for every city in which Titus goes. So it's Christianity wide in the first century. We cannot argue that it's just for a specific contextual situation which is limited only in the first century. No, we have that it's for every city in which Titus goes. And after that, if a man is blameless, the husband of wife and wife, the same phrase, faithful, having faithful children, not accused of dissipation or insubordination. For a bishop must be blameless as a steward of God, not a self-willed, not quick-tempered, not given to wine, not violent, not greedy for money. We have covered those. It's the same description for the elder. It's the exactly same characteristics, but there could be some differences. But another thing which is interesting is about the faithful children. You remember in the Old Testament when the priest's children were doing inappropriate things in the temple, people were looking very with anger to the temple and to those services there, because they were like not liking what the people, the sons of the we continue with verse 8. But hospitable, it's very nice characteristic to have, like Abraham, to be hospitable, to have guests, a lover of what is good, sober-minded, just, holy, self-controlled, holding fast the faithful word as he has been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and convict those who contradict. So the elder should be able to teach and convict people which are having different beliefs. So not every man is able to meet all the criteria here, but we see that they're definitely gender specific because of the phrase man of one wife, husband of one wife, and because of the characteristics here meet the qualities which men have, the negative things which are like in the man's nature. Because here we don't read the elder should dress modestly or do not his hair a lot, like Paul said for the women. And another thing, it's very unlikely that Paul is going to allow here in those qualifications a woman to be an elder in the church, and contradicting what he has said in Timothy 2, that women should not exercise authority over men, because we can see that the office of an elder is an office of an authority. It's not something which is like without point. So Paul cannot contradict and forbidding women to exercise authority over men, and after that allowing them to exercise authority over men through the office of an elder. There is no logic at all. So in finish, I don't say that women shouldn't serve in the church. I know about Phoebe or Deborah or Oda and the other prophets, which and the other female names, but we shouldn't confuse serving God with having an office which is specifically targeted towards men. And another thing, we shouldn't base what the church does based on just policies, but rather on theology, what the Bible says, because the culture changes a lot. In the future there could be some other stuff which influence the way people read the Bible, but if God is unchanging, his interpretation of the Bible shouldn't be changed. We could get to know some more things about what it says, but the culture shouldn't influence the way we understand it, because you are pressured by first, second, third, fourth wave feminism that women should be in everything equal to the men to change what people thought of the Bible. Thank you.